Hello everyone and welcome to day 42 of our Jewel Cichlid fry journey. It's hard to believe that we've reached 6 weeks already. The tiny fry we first saw swimming under the close watch of their parents are now growing into little fish with their own personalities, instincts, and yes, even rivalries. Today marks an important transition phase. At this point, growth and survival are no longer just about parental protection. They are increasingly about competition, independence, and finding a place in the group. So let's begin by taking a look at some of the growth milestones at day 42. By day 42, most jewel cichlid fry are significantly larger than when we started. Now, their bodies are more defined with fins showing clearer structure. And you can begin to see the early shimmer of jewel like colors, especially under the right lighting. Similarly, size differences are also becoming more obvious. Some fry are noticeably larger and stronger, while others remain smaller and less developed. Now, this variation is natural, but it's also the first sign of competition at play. The stronger, faster fry often eat more and grow faster, creating a cycle that can widen the gap even further. Now, at the same time, we also realize that feeding time is no longer the calm, organized routine that it once was. Now you'll notice the fry darting quickly to grab food, sometimes even nudging others aside. Now the bold fry are often the first to reach the food. The shy fry, on the other hand, may hesitate, missing out on the best portions. This is where careful observation matters. If smaller fry consistently miss meals, they risk being outcompeted and their growth will remain stunted. So, a good tip here would be to spread the food across the tank rather than dropping it in just one place. So, this gives the fry more of a chance to eat without direct competition. Now, at the same time, you will realize that it's not just food that's sparking rivalries. At day 42, fry also begin to stake out micro territories within the tank. Some hover near the bottom, protecting little areas, while others claim the spots among the plants, rocks, or decorations. A few may even chase away the weaker fry from their chosen zone. And this is the very beginning of jewel cichlid's natural territorial behavior, which will become even more intense as they mature. By now, you'll notice that the parents are less protective than they were in the early weeks. They no longer hover constantly over the fry. Their role shifts from protectors to more distant overseers. And in some cases, parents may even begin showing mild aggression towards their own fry, nudging them away as part of the independence process. That is something that we have not seen so far, but within the next few days, that is something to watch out for because that will then indicate that it is time to move the fry away to another tank and allow the parents the space to spawn once again. Now, this reduced dependence on parents is completely normal. The fry are slowly learning how to survive on their own. Now, what is your role as a fish keeper? Okay, so at this stage, your role as a fish keeper becomes very important. So, here are some tips to manage the competition. So, as we know that dual cichlids a bit of a headache when they are in numbers. So, Therefore, you need to be extra attentive to make sure that they're not kind of uh, eating or kind of injuring one another. So to avoid all this, to manage the competition, it's better to feed small amounts but more frequently, so that all the fry can get multiple chances to eat. As I said earlier, it's also good to spread food in different areas, and this will help to reduce crowding. At the same time, you also have to watch for the smaller fry. If they are being out competed, you need to consider separating them into a smaller grow out tank for a while. And above all, you need to maintain good water quality, because as fry grow, they produce more waste. So filtration and water changes are absolutely important. Now, one of the most fascinating things at this stage is watching personalities develop. As you would have already seen, some fry are bold leaders, quick to grab food and claim space. Others are shy observers, hanging back but surviving quietly. A few may even be troublemakers, chasing their siblings just for fun. Now, these differences are not just entertaining to watch, they also hint at the roles each fish might play as they mature. So, what comes next? Over the next coming days, you'll see that the competition will intensify, hierarchies will start forming, and some fry will clearly become dominant while others will remain smaller and submissive. Now, this stage is very important for growth and survival, and it sets the stage for when the fry will eventually need to be moved into the grow out tanks. There, they'll have more space to thrive. So, before we wind up, here's a question for you. Have you noticed your jewel cichlid fry competing for food or space around that 6 week mark? Do you separate the smaller fry or do you allow them to remain in the main group? Share your experiences in the comments, because I'd love to hear how you'd manage this situation. So that's all for our update on day 42 of our jewel cichlid fry. It's amazing to see how far they've come, and it's even more exciting to think about what's ahead. Stay tuned for day 43, where we'll dive deeper into how social hierarchies form and what that means for the future of these growing fry. Thanks for joining me today, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss out any of these fascinating aspects of jewel cichlids. So, till then, happy fish keeping.